Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I kind of want to follow up a little bit with that. Given that theory, would the same thing apply to, say, missile, to missile tracking satellites and everything else in the value chain? Do those have the same impact on a possible response?
Thank you, Senator. Missile tracking can facilitate counterforce targeting of North Korean assets, and ultimately, because these assets will be used anywhere around the world where our forces need them, they can simply also be used against China and Russia. This has already led to, for instance, Russia's development of a ground-based laser called Peresvet, which is designed to disrupt and dazzle our observation satellites. The Russians don't want us tracking their ICBM transporter Rector launchers. We haven't talked a lot about China today, so let me just offer one observation there. The primary Chinese concern is not solely our missile defense. China is also quite concerned about our conventional precision strike capabilities. Because Chinese nuclear forces are lean, I believe the Defense Intelligence Agency has attested to the fact that Chinese nuclear forces are currently in the low 200s, but expected to double in size by the end of the decade. One of the things that China is particularly concerned about is a conventional campaign waged by the United States against its nuclear forces, which are primarily land-based. The People's Liberation Army Air Force, for the first time since the 1980s, has now readopted a nuclear mission beginning in 2019. But all of this means that missile tracking, while an important component of facilitating missile defense and counterforce, can ultimately be destabilizing.
Dr. Sofer, would you want to respond to that? Any of that?
Well, it can be destabilizing, but it can also be very stabilizing if it provides deterrence, right? If China understands that we have these capabilities in place, they won't start a war and you have deterrence at the outset. So in that case, it can be stabilizing. Depends on your perspective.
Yeah, no. Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.